Get access to exclusive videos and more, and support the channel on patreon.com/manlightfoot.
I don't get the whole dog show scene. Everyone's trying to be the best version of the same thing. But what if you're different? Is that bad? And then after all the judging, they grope you?
But why?
Oftentimes, there's movies that spark controversy before they even come out. Some gaining hatred based on some fairly bad trailers, even getting monkeys on keyboards to make multiple videos yelling about said trailers. Sony's Genndy Tartakovsky's Fix falls right into that category. Talk about a film that had a bitch of a reputation. There was constant build-up to this film from when it was originally announced, to learning Genndy's directing and writing it, to it being 2D animated. There was too much going for it to be bad. But then
everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
People found out about the story being about a dog named Bull who's gonna get neutered to having one last night of glory, and they weren't really having it. There was still some trust in Genndy, granted some of that wane with Unicorns Warriors Eternal being a pack of mid, but there was still some hype in people's interest for Fixed. Then the Red and Green Band trailers dropped and things got bad for folks. The Red showed the dog ball humor of the movie, while the Green was more tame and better showing of more of the jokes and how the characters are, if not still a little bit raunchy. But people still doubted Genndy and thought this was basically gonna be Sausage Party again. Now trust me, a million things have to go wrong before another animated movie becomes like Sausage Party. Hell, Sausage Party is back right now and even it doesn't know what it wants to be. So you can tell I wasn't really feeling most of the hate the film was getting. It seemed overblown and it also felt a smidge misdirected. I know we know Genndy as an animation great that made some of the most potent cartoons of our lifetimes like Samurai Jack and Primal, but we also gotta remember the man made Dexter's Laboratory and Hotel Transylvania movies. He can be pretty damn funny when he needs to be. So while I had a bit of a hang up towards the movie with its pet humor, and trust I can get it with the puns a bit, they can go a little far if you're not really someone who likes those type of jokes. I was willing to toss this movie a bone though. I managed to see it a few weeks earlier than everyone and can honestly say this movie did not need to be sent to the dog pound like it was. Also let me know if these dog puns are becoming a bitch to handle in the comments.
Can you dig it?
The movie, like I said, follows Bull the pit bull, a horny little thing that can't stop humping everything in sight, including Grandma's leg. His family decides to finally have him neutered like the rest of his canine friends. His friends, who understand his struggle since they already got the chop, decide to help Bull get one last night of glory. This includes him chasing squirrels, pooping where he's not supposed to, and getting a nut.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
All while trying to navigate his feelings towards his neighbor's dog and friend Honey. At first glance, you can see how off-putting this movie can be with all the dog balls just flinging around. It's like the one Studio Ghibli movie with the raccoons, except it's just straight up balls.
Dude, this is pretty fucked up right here.
But in reality, this movie deep down is a nice bro movie. And I don't mean bro in the vein of those wild frat boy movies with nothing more than beer and boob humor. I mean it's about hanging with the boys and appreciating those around you rather than getting lost in your woes. Though this isn't far behind those frat boy movies with the way these dogs have their day in this. Voiced by Adam Devine, Bull is a rambunctious pit bull that wears a false bravado. He tends to be wrapped up in his own problems to a point it can get in the way of his goals. Just kinda has a bit of an ego problem. He'll talk shit about others while they're around when he gets too emotional, which sets things off for him to learn a valuable lesson and see true value in his friends, even though he can still be a jackass with a bit of smarminess to him. With the way he acts, you would think the family would have put him up for adoption instead of giving him the snips. You can feel Bull's blight since he struggles romantically with Honey. Played by Kathryn Hahn, she's a show dog that shares feeling for Bull, but just like him, struggles to come to terms with them. She's fairly shy when having to tell others about her feelings, but when she's around Bull, she acts like she's in heat. It's a fun use of the trope of two characters that like each other, but are too afraid to speak on it. You honestly get a fun dynamic between these two that has a great chemistry. It's just fun to see these two flirt off of each other. It's just adorable. It's always fun to see a guy character get thrown off by how raunchy a girl character can be, and this bitch is raunchy.
Who doesn't want to do their Nana? I mean, when ours comes to visit, I climb that mountain and I grind it hard. Every time. Ooh, I just concentrate on her bony knees and ooh.
No.
But deep down, Honey herself is a goober just like Bull. You get into the romantics of the movie because the characters do seem genuine. Though, I'll admit there could have been more moments between Bull and Honey in the movie to really hammer in their connection to one another. It's not bad with how the way it's done in the film, but you just feel like there could have been a few more scenes of these two interacting and having some nice playtime together before we get into everything. If anything, it just feels like the movie could have had some more minutes added to it as a benefit. There's also Bull's friend Rocco, the serious but repressed one, played by Idris Elba. He tries to keep Bull in line and talk some sense into him. Fetch, played by Fred Armisen, he's the stylish friend that's in denial about his doghood. And Lucky, the not too right one, played by Bobby Moynihan. He ain't too right, but they love him. He does get a pretty good cool moment in the movie though. They're a good group of bros that look out for each other and Bull even if he doesn't deserve it. They actually want to look out for him and try to help him through his problem. You just enjoy the group of friends having each other's backs. They each have a striking personality that creates a pretty chaotic group. You just love watching these guys come together to help their friend get his nut.
I know what you're thinking.
Okay, I get how that sounds, but y'all know what I mean. The major heart of the film is Bull's friends being there for him in order to learn to appreciate what he does have rather than what he's gonna lose. There's some genuine heart in this tale of a dog about to get the cut.
We're gonna go out there and chuck every bit of fun out of those balls before you lose them.
Together.
We're all gonna suck your balls.
What?
The animation obviously was the major standpoint of this movie. Absolutely gorgeous to look at hand-drawn animation that Genndy and his crew excel at. It takes some fundamentals from Primal's design and animation style and puts it on a cinematic scale. At least cinematic in a grounded sense because they more or less just stay in a small little neighborhood town. It reminds me heavy of Lady and the Tramp with these beautiful backgrounds. I want to put some of these frames up on my walls, they just look so good. The designs of all the dogs in the movie are so fun. Each dog feels like the wild imagination of what people would feel a dog looks like if they just didn't know what a dog looked like. It just shows why 2D animation and design can be so great. You see all these different designed dogs move individually and you just see so much time and effort put on full display. Guarantee some of these board artists and animators' wrists were put on ice. You feel every brushstroke on every muzzle, every tail, every testicle, sadly. There's just masterwork on display with the movie's individual character animations. Rocco's straightforward and stiff movements work as funny contrast to Bull's more loose and wavy movements, who also complements Honey's looser flowing style. No character moves the same in this film. It's a style of design and animation that's been a staple in Genndy's work since Dexter's Lab. It feels more perfected here and in Primal. They don't hold back artistically with this film. They capture the true nature of the average good boy and girl, one tail waggle at a time. Speaking of dog puns, the other bread and butter of this movie is the humor. I know it's not for everyone, I just gotta say. The humor revolves around owning a dog, so all my cat owners out there sadly gotta retract their claws for this one. Not to say there aren't any good cat jokes in the mix, you still will get a few cat puns here and there as well as some funny interactions with cats in this movie. Now, it by no means is for everyone, especially with all the genital and sex jokes there are, but this movie is funny as hell. Dog puns are fully unleashed in this movie, and if they ain't your cup of tea, you're not gonna have a good time. But I actually think they work here since they get raunchy with them. They are visual gags that go with the puns that boost their funniness. The raunch can be a little much, especially with how many ball jokes they go for, but what's pretty funny is the fact that while they show the balls and even the back doors of the dogs, they don't bother with the dick. They go out of their way to avoid showing the genitalia by cleverly hiding them, or in most cases they just don't draw it. It just adds a layer to the humor beyond it just being all about dog balls and bungholes. It's pretty funny to think there was a limit to how far they would go with the jokes and still straight up put humping on the screen. The jokes get genuine laughs out of me, but I can understand if some felt they're a little raw.
You know what I smell like?
Yeah, piss and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And meat, and grass, toilet water, and maybe a hint of unexpressed anal glands.
Dude, that's not a brag!
All of this to say, I had a really fun time with Fixed. This wasn't neutered in how it was made. There's a genuineness that comes off of this movie, from the characters and their connections to one another, to the downright beautiful animation and character design, to the pretty funny over-the-top jokes. Like, outright, they will get brutal and will surprise you. You will get a laugh out of this movie. I don't care who you are. You could be as stone-faced as you are, but you will get a chuckle somewhat. Even down to the pretty good needle drops to this movie. There are genuinely some good music choices that outright surprised me. It's definitely not a movie for everyone, but allow me to speak on something about the reactions to this movie before it came out. It wasn't fair to assume it was the worst movie ever before y'all got to see it. It's understandable if the trailers didn't hook you, but there are a lot of folks leaving early reviews that were just reactions to the trailer.
brainless loser.
That's not fair to any piece of art to give it the full assessment before it's even out. Too many niggas jumped the gun on this movie and tried to lead a campaign against it when it's just a simple fun movie if you actually watch it. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. If it don't apply, let it fly. But it should stop at choosing not to watch this stuff. It doesn't need to go any further than that. There don't need to be a bunch of preemptive videos hating on a movie that isn't even out yet. If anything, this movie deserves an apology from a lot of people who just overreacted to it.
No more collars, no more baths, no more teeth cleanings for me. Ah!
Always watch for yourself and make opinions on it for yourself. You don't like it, just drop it and move on. People can miss out on what could be their new favorite movie when you raise a hate campaign against a film, especially one that's pretty much harmless, at least if you're an adult. And not a pussy. I'm betting many who got mad at this movie will realize they overreacted. Some might call it their new favorite, and that's a good thing because Fixed is a funny watch for any dog owner. You get a lot of relatability out of this movie if you have your own little menace at home to deal with. It's definitely a movie that did need to be spayed or neutered.